Steve? Steve?
Yeah. Okay. He's kind of how we got here.
Yeah.
Now he's looking for a place to host the advanced storytelling workshop. And I put in a bid on it before and did not get it. How much I want to there.
Okay.
And hopefully it was goes.
Yeah. And then I'll do this. I'll sit here during one day.
Try for it again. It would be great to have that here.
What I told Johnson, a year later, he has this really nice hotel. Although I went in to look at the students there. I've been a while since I've been there. Yeah.
They're basically in that. Yeah.
But not yours until we get done.
Thank you. I had to have one receiver.
Should we get everyone to sit up here?
It's just like in class, they all.
I know, yeah.
That's for sure. I know Susie's coming.
Yeah, she's gonna
Hey guys, it's a big screen, but if you sit up there, you can see better. You see faces. Come on up. Come on down here.
First 3 rows?
Yeah. First, we can do this. We're not in church, but no. Come on down. Get a closer view. Sound is better. The lighting will be better when I turn the lights off for this viewing, and you get a chance for John to see your face too. So we'll get started in just a few minutes. We are streaming this live for our friends and family around the world. A lot of people, I think, in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
At least one in Denver that we know of.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the National Press Photographers Foundation, a lot of those folks will be tuning in tonight too. So we're happy to be able to make that happen. This was almost a last minute stream, but we decided to make it happen. Thank you for moving down. We're gonna wait a few more minutes to get some more people to show up. So
I'm like, but I don't see that.
we'll figure out who's who in just a little bit.
Hi.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Is that it? Oh, I see. I thought it was more.
Corey?
That's why. Yes.
Susie went so much in my classes, so she was trying to find a bigger room. 2 o'clock. My class, of course, she was 3.4, and then Susie's class, which was.
So, yes.
Oh, well, I'll tell you.
Because I should try. I'm so good at that kind of thing. The chairs and ideas, and like logistically, you knew how to come together.
About 2 minutes. Can you grab one of the recording studios?
Where does the show get? Where's it? About 30 feet. It gets there. Sort of actually. I know it's varied. It's gone from station to station. I figured since Channel 459 show it, I figured but I haven't seen it in a while. So I see the nightly updates, but I don't see the show. Yeah. Okay. Is there still a 60-minute version of it also? It's just a 35 because you can take the whole 60 or you just take 30.
Just
I was once a guest on this Indiana business.
I'll give you
Back in like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, yeah.
Very first time.
Well, before we start, thank you for being here. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna take questions after, so I hope you have, some questions and show some work and talking about my approach to storytelling. I've seen some of you, met some of you before, so it's great to see the familiar faces here. Thanks.
Okay, Stan. All right, welcome. This is going to be a special evening with John Sharify. I'm Tim Underhill, Senior Lecturer in the Department of Media here at Ball State University. It's great to see all of you here on campus and to know that we have many others joining us live via YouTube. Thanks to University Media Services and Sam Clemens for helping us set up the live stream. There are a few others, though, that I need to thank who are making tonight's presentation possible. First of all, the Ball State University Department of Media. Susie Smith knows that if I ask money for something, it must be important. The National Press Photographers Foundation, and specifically the Hutchison Wheeler Fund. Sonny Hutchison and Chris Wheeler started as TV news photographers and evolved into some really terrific storytellers. They both credit the NPPA, especially the News Video Workshop, with their success. So this is one way that they are paying it forward. And if we could please just give a quick round of applause for those two guys. Thank you. John Sharify has been serving his communities by sharing their stories for decades. He is one of the most honored broadcast journalists in the country. I can't name all of his awards. I will get a couple highlights here. 79 Emmy Awards. That's impressive. 9 Edward R. Murrow Awards, including 4 years as the best news writer in the country. In 2021, he and Joseph Huerta were recognized with the DuPoint Columbia Award, which is the broadcast equivalent of the Pulitzer Prize. I could go on, but I do want to get started. Storytelling and journalism can really have a great impact on our communities. Experience the power of storytelling from one of the best. I'm honored to call him my friend, Mr. John Sharify.
Thank you. All right, let me take care of this microphone, though. Thank you for those kind words. I've really been looking forward to this. It's great to see some familiar faces. I've been in some of the classes, so it's good to see you again. And we were thinking of taking some questions after my presentation. But in the next hour, I'd like to talk about my journey as a journalist, my approach to reporting and storytelling, why I do this, and why I'm so grateful to be able to pay it forward to the next generation of journalists. Paying it forward, which I've done recently at the University of Alaska, Anchorage, where I was the Atwood Chair of Journalism, and most recently as a mentor, storytelling coach to reporters at Scripps Media. I had 12 reporters under my wings who, by the end of the time we were together, elevated their storytelling big time. I was so proud of them. And now I get to be here with you. So thank you, Professor Underhill, for this invitation, and NPPA Foundation and Ball State's Department of Media. Thank you for this opportunity. Anyone who knows me knows I love what I do, the journalism, the storytelling, and how we as journalists have a passport into people's lives. If we start this story at the end and work our way backwards.
Why can't you let me off my leash?
This is where we start.
Yeah.
In Creswell, Oregon.
Dogs love it out here.
We're visiting with Don and Esther Hawkins.
Good girl.
Granddaughter Alyssa is visiting too.
Ray.
And that's Ray.
Ray.
She's a husky mix.
Fetch.
New addition to the family.
She's my first dog. There's that. And I think she's really sweet. Spin.
The Hawkins adopted Ray a week ago.
Yeah, they trained her very well.
Look.
They're grateful to the people who trained her.
Good girl.
The idea of having a trained dog is very appealing.
High five.
Talk about a perfect fit. Perfect timing.
Shake.
She does a lot of tricks.
Ray doesn't know this, how could she? But she fills a void, this emptiness, heartache, the feelings you feel when you lose a member of your family. I'm talking about Lily.
Well, she was a German Shepherd Beagle mix. We really, really miss her. You're being a good doggy, aren't you?
Now they have Ray.
Yeah, you're being a good dog.
Here's the thing. We met Ray before this family met Ray.
Ray, let's go.
By we, I mean me and Joseph. Say hi. Okay, that's enough FaceTime, Joseph. Okay, where were we? Ah, yes, the story. We're working our way backwards.
Down.
Let's go back 2 months.
Good girl.
The day we met Ray. It's also the day we met Brett,
Ray, come.
one of Ray's trainers.
Good. Sit. Good.
Here we are earlier in the day,
It's a good girl.
in Brett's room,
There you go.
Ray's home.
It's strange to think about that we're sending dogs to prison for help.
Abandoned and neglected dogs are sent here to get trained, to increase their chances of being adopted by a family. We're at the Coyote Ridge Correction Center in Connell, Washington. Let's get right to it. The introductions.
I have Chip. She is very playful. She loves other dogs. She loves to please. And she loves to perform tricks. High five.
Yeah.
Panda's next.
It's really good to see a dog like this come in and be so transformed back into a good, happy-natured dog instead of, a shine at everyone's hand.
For Diver, this is a second chance, this training he's getting, so a family, maybe you, will adopt him.
So as you can see, he's pretty good at coming up the stairs. We had to teach him that. He didn't know how with only 3 legs.
And it's good for the prisoners, too.
And it helps with inmates that aren't even in the dog program. It's bridged gaps. I've seen great big, huge, scary, intimidating guys come up to me and say, "Oh, it's a puppy!" And these are big, huge, scary prison guys that you'd think would want to beat you up and kill you. And they come up doing baby talk.
Personally, my mom died while I was in prison, and to have a dog there to help deal with the emotional aspects of being kept apart from my family was really a lifesaver for me.
Okay.
1,500 dogs have passed through the Coyote Ridge Dog Program since it was started 8 years ago.
We've seen throughout the 8 years, an impact on the recidivism of the offenders that release within our program. It's amazing to see from when they leave the gate and they're saying, "I'm gonna go train dogs."
All right. Ooh.
Watching these guys grow with the dogs as they come in, every dog gives them a new experience.
Some of the dogs we met that first day 2 months ago, clearly obsessed
Good shake.
with Joseph's camera gear.
Are you going to eat the camera?
Okay.
The inmates use positive reinforcement, praise only,
Legend.
when it comes to these dogs waiting to be adopted.
Come on, buddy. Come over here. Good. Good. Hi.
That first day, we weren't sure which of these dogs would be leaving prison first.
Good girl.
It was Ray.
We never imagined that we would go almost 400 miles to get a dog.
Hi, how you doing?
We were there for that first meeting a week ago. The handoff. Go ahead.
Down.
Show them what Ray has learned in prison.
Good. Down. Good.
And here's what we learned about how this family found out about the dogs here.
We heard about it from an inmate, that they had a program up there.
We didn't get to meet that inmate while we were here. He's not in the dog training program.
The inmate actually is our son.
If we end this story the way we began it, this is where we'll leave you. With Ray's loving family in Ray's new home.
We've always felt that it's just neat to give a dog a home and a second chance.
John Sharify, King 5 News. Did you see it coming? When we introduced Ray at the top, did you think we'd end up in prison? No, I don't think so. I saw you shaking your head. And when Ray's owner tells us how she's learned about the program, did you see that coming? In the story, I said something like she's learned about the program from one of the inmates. Now, I didn't say who. I let her say who. And who was it? Surprise. The element of surprise. That's right, the inmate was her son. Did I know that going into the story? Actually, I did not. But when I discovered it, I realized I had to figure out the best way to reveal it to the viewers. Timing is everything. If you get to know my work, you'll learn I write in the third person, like we're taught to do. I write in the first person, too. I write in the second person. I mix it all up. A line from that story you just saw. Ray fills a void, an emptiness, heartache. Well, that's third person. Next line. Feelings you feel when you lose a member of your family. Second person. Next line. I'm talking about Lily. First person. All three in those three sentences. I'm talking to you, the viewer. I'm breaking the fourth wall. Breaking the fourth wall. Can someone tell me what that is? What is the fourth wall? Say that louder.
I would say like you're talking to the audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you said like you're talking to the audience. Go ahead. Okay, and you are going to say? Hi, fourth wall. Exactly. It is a theatrical term, that invisible line that separates the actors from the audience. You're not supposed to break the fourth wall, we're told. But I say break it. Here are a couple of examples of breaking the fourth wall.
Please tell me. Please tell me you'll spend more than a few seconds looking at this work of art and that one, that you won't walk away, not just yet, or look away, not now.
It's magnificent.
When there's beauty staring right at you, and a story waiting to be shared. What if I told you what this man told me the other day?
I think we'll be on.
Would you believe me when I tell you there isn't a moment when he feels sad about losing his legs? Believe it. It's true.
I'm still Andre. I just happen to not have legs now. And
didn't I tell you? I'm not sure why.
Asking that question, I'm involving you, I'm connecting with you. You and I are now engaged in this story I'm sharing. When I ask a question, and I include that in my narrative and my story, that simple act of asking a question gets you, the viewer, more engaged. Like this story, I was assigned after the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Listen for the questions.
crazy how many people are here.
What do we do now?
It's so loud.
How do we act? How do we put into words this feeling of pride we share?
It's like the best parade ever.
The joy we share. We have a piece of this. It's ours too. Even the bags of Skittles Marshawn Lynch threw at us. It's ours.
The sweet is very sweet, okay?
This is our city. We're so happy.
Why not us? Just like Russell Wilson said, this is our year.
And now, our victory parade.
I had to bring her. This is history.
It's for everyone.
And not just the people here, all Washingtonians.
This moment.
This moment is everything.
Everything. And we're embracing this moment in time. It's here. It's now. And it's for all of us, this memory.
Are you going to remember this forever?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Gratitude lined the streets of Seattle, side by side with joy.
I bawled my head off Sunday. I was crying so hard. I'm going to cry again.
It feels like forever we've been craving what this parade represents.
Are you proud?
Yeah, really proud.
Imagine this, that we no longer have to imagine that feeling of bliss that comes to us when we get something we want so bad. We have it now.
It's pretty cool. This is really awesome.
We're Super Bowl champs. Woo! It's real. This pinch ourselves to make sure it's real moment. We're loving it. We're feeling it. And it feels so good.
This is the first of, I hope, many to come.
So what do we do now? This is what we do. As we are reminded of that question Russell Wilson asked his teammates during this unforgettable season. Why not us? John Sharify.
It does not get any better than this.
King 5 News.
No one else is doing this right now but us right here in Seattle.
Write what you know. That's what I do. When I wrote the line in this story, imagine this, we no longer have to imagine that. The feeling of bliss that comes to us when we want something so bad. I'm writing what I know. That line taps into our shared experience of wanting something so much that when we get it, there's nothing like it. You've been there, right? What is it for you? Think about it. Write what you know. It's advice many aspiring writers receive. I was no different. It's advice I received from my father, who happened to have been a well-known poet in his 20s in Iran, where he was born and raised. When my dad was alive, we often talked about the craft of writing and storytelling. And I'll never forget that time when he declared about one of my news stories he had just watched on WPIX-TV in New York. He said, "Son, that story was great. There wasn't one extra word." For me as a writer, reporter, storyteller, filmmaker, that's always the goal. In fact, not one extra word has become my mantra.
How do you know if that person is the one for you? How did she know? How did he know? Maybe it's this. Maybe it's this simple. You just do. Maybe we should start this love story with Kenny's tattoo, Do Life. It says it right there.
It's two simple words.
Do life. His philosophy of life.
You know, you got to show up when life shows up.
His mantra. I mean,
Here we go.
Their mantra now.
She's doing life with you. Indeed. She's helping me. She's showing me how.
It makes us feel connected. It's something that we can both do.
And it's something we can share together. It's kind of fun. Yeah, dragging me out and stretching my comfort zones.
Let's rewind this love story. Rewind 3 years before Claire met Kenny, before they started saying these things.
Kenny, you are my best friend.
And feeling these things.
Yeah, she's that emotional rock.
You have brought so much joy and love and have just filled my life with purpose.
Absolutely, I love her, yeah.
I'm so happy that I found you.
Yeah, it was February 11th of 2004. I hit a jump going too fast and overshot the landing of a tabletop jump in the terrain park. Fell about 40 feet onto my head, broke my neck, my back, and my femur all at once. And yeah, ended up a C3-4 quad, so all I can do is shrug. I drive my chair with my head when I touch the sensors. And, yeah. Yep.
I don't even think about the fact that he's in a chair.
Yeah, it doesn't really faze her, never has. So she's always said, you know, had I not been injured, she never would have met me.
That day, they met.
One of those, you know, love at first thought kind of things.
Love at first thought. Love at first sight, if you believe in these things. Claire believes.
When I walked through the doors for the interview.
By interview, she means the interview for the job as Kenny's caregiver.
I swear to this day that I left and said, I think I'm gonna fall for my boss. I called my sister, just because of his blue eyes and his infectious personality.
Claire got the job, then she lost the job. Fired. Not because of anything she did, no. It's because of what she said. Go ahead, say what you said.
Oh, I said I have a secret. If you weren't my boss, I'd kind of want to date you. I was so nervous, and I was running back into the bathroom and just so
Hair
nervous.
on the back of my neck standing up.
Yeah.
Like,
And then I get a message the next day.
You're fired?
Yeah.
Question mark?
A decision he had to make for love. Fast forward now. Claire moves on to another job. They begin dating, doing life, and loving. And now, here's the best part.
Yeah, I said, will you marry me? And you said?
I think I said absolutely.
The wedding is in 3 months. It's been said, and it's worth repeating. Love is the answer. That's his other tattoo.
Right on my arm.
Is love the answer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, to just about any question.
So that's their story.
Yeah, I think we're living a love story. It's a unique story. People don't see this kind of thing all the time, but yeah, I think it's a powerful one.
John Sharify.
One of the best decisions I've made is asking her those 4 words.
King 5 News.
Continue to do life and tackle the next thing that comes our way.
And that story aired on a Valentine's Day. Perfect Valentine's Day story, right? Write what you know. I say when it comes to news stories, make sure you write what you see. Let's see the story through your lens, through your eyes, through your heart. Then we'll feel something. Because it's not enough to give us the facts. I tell my students, yes, give me the facts. Of course, give me the facts. Shine the light, get at the truth, hold our government leaders accountable, shift perspective through the stories you share. Do all of that, but give me more. Give me heart. Report with heart.
You never know what to expect when you walk into a memory care facility. We're at the Gaffney House in Capitol Hill. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be quite like this. This calm, this quiet. And then I realized why. I realized it's the headphones. The headphones. All these headphones.
Oh, a lot of it is beautiful.
Virginia.
I realized
I have a music for you.
it's the music.
Georgia. Yes, it was. Georgia.
Bach.
The music is gorgeous. Just an old sweet song.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Virginia's got Georgia on her mind.
Georgia on my mind.
The music.
They find actual joy in that music.
The music.
You saw it.
Lifts them up, these residents with dementia.
Or did you?
The music calms them down.
Well, I think the beauty of the music in memory is that it's so specific to each person.
Specific.
No, that's not the song.
Because families pick out the songs they hope will resonate.
No.
The caregivers create the personal playlists.
We're customizing the music to that person.
We've got the iPods for him.
Next thing you know,
The eyes, right? Yeah, it's in the eyes.
Yeah, you betcha.
they come alive.
He always says I say, yeah, you betcha.
You betcha.
Do I say that really?
You can see it
Yeah.
in their eyes. They feel it in their souls.
She's singing with her iPods right now.
The music. Their music now transports them back in time to a beautiful place.
Where they find peace.
Really great music.
It is wonderful, isn't it?
And then all of a sudden the language comes back.
Exactly.
Mein fester Burg ist unser Gott. Is that familiar to you?
That's not. I don't speak German.
Music is really interesting in the sense that it's one of the things that activates the most regions of the brain of any stimulus out there.
I hung my head and I cried.
Music activates memory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, that kind of memory and learning that comes about without even knowing that you're learning it.
I know where he is.
You know where he is?
Yeah.
Right there.
Gail keys in on this neuropsychologist's name tag.
Christopher
Yeah.
Rose.
You got it. It's actually
PhD.
Christopher, but I'll go with Christopher. I can live with that. And who are you?
Gail.
Gail, it's nice to meet you.
Looks like
All
a
right.
man.
Yeah. Something tells me you run this place. I think I compiled somehow.
When this place gets new residents, the staff gets to work on those playlists.
I'll purchase that song and add it to Roberto's playlist.
That's Roberto, newest resident at the Gaffney House.
How you doing?
He doesn't know this yet, but his days are about to get brighter,
See ya.
his memory sharper.
I've got some music for you today.
Oh, yeah.
With Roberto, I'm going to need to get some tangos, which I haven't had before.
Maria Bonga, yeah.
You liked her, right?
Yeah.
All right.
There's this kind of like a stirring or an awakening that happens. This kind of prehistoric kind of pathway that we all have and we all have access to that gets rekindled with music.
You like it?
I love it.
You love it. I'll buy all these songs for you.
You make me gonna cry.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. Yeah.
I adore you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His happiness makes me so happy that, you know, he found what he loved.
Sometimes, for some reason, a song strikes the wrong chord.
So it brought him to a place, a dark place.
It did. It did. What's wrong?
I don't know.
What must he be thinking? What must she be thinking?
Yesterday.
I think that there is value in having people have that catharsis. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing if somebody cries.
Do you want me to help you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You ready?
I'm not scaredy.
Okay, there you go. How about that? Is that good?
Much better.
I'll love to see smile all day long on them if it's possible.
The families live for those moments of clarity and joy. That's son Roberto and daughter Lourdes.
The music is very profound, very touching.
When you think about it, it's so simple.
I heard that classical Baroque is your favorite.
Tap into the power of music.
See what you think of this.
So he's absolutely loving it.
To help residents tap into deep memories.
Go hand. I love you.
Lift them up. Calm them down. So they can have the best days they can have.
It just puts him in this good place again.
John Sharify, King 5 I know all about Alzheimer's. My mom had been living with Alzheimer's for 2 decades. She was the inspiration to that story you just saw about the power of music. Sadly, she passed away 3 weeks ago at the age of 97. I was with her at her side when she took her last breath. What a privilege. I was also with Bob Fuller when he took his last breath.
We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
What if you knew the number of days you had left in your life?
I do know how many days left.
I mean the exact number.
I only have 19 days.
Not approximate.
Yep, 7 days.
Exact.
5 more days.
Let's say you knew.
This is it. Today, it's my final day on the planet.
Like Bob Fuller knew, your death date.
On May 10th, this year, 2019, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I will die.
So if you knew, how would you spend those remaining months, weeks, days, hours?
In a couple hours, I'm going to be dead tired. And no pun there, really. I will be dead tired. I love you, Jim.
Yeah. We were with Bob in his last hours.
I love your cameraman too.
Joseph Huerta and I.
Thank you all for being here.
We were with him in his final minutes of life. None of us could have predicted what would happen next. This.
I'm still here.
Bob being Bob, even till the end. Bob Fuller reminding us, all of us in this room on that day, about those precious moments.
I gotta say, you're looking great. You're sounding great.
I'm very photogenic.
We got to share with him.
I'm ready, Mr. DeMille. Oh.
There were so many, so many. Where do we begin? How about March 3rd, our first day with him?
Are you filming me?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We had 68 days left with Bob Fuller.
Get me to the church on time.
He was like sunshine.
Oh, happy day.
Sunshine on a cloudy day.
Yeah.
If you knew Bob and you spent time with him in those last months, you knew he was in a lot of pain. It was the tongue cancer.
God damn it.
By the time he recorded this
hurt.
Bob had already made up his mind.
Sorry.
To end his life, end his pain. Bob Fuller knew it was his right, under Washington State's Death with Dignity law, to request lethal doses of medication. Terminally ill patients with less than 6 months to live have that right.
And look how skinny I am.
Bob had less than 6 months to live.
It's your choice.
It's Bob's choice.
So underneath your sweater?
It was also his choice to have us tell his story. I'd known Bob 10 years. Joseph Huerta knew him just 68 days, the number of days we were with him as we chronicled his last days of life.
You'll see as you walk with me here these next two and a half months that I'm surrounded by love.
The things he did in his life.
Yeah.
He was an Air Force veteran, retired nurse, and over the years, he sponsored more than 100 people in Alcoholics Anonymous. Bob had been sober 35 years.
He was my sponsor, so that meant that he was, taking me through the steps in AA and becoming like a mentor.
The things Bob would say.
I don't know if you remember me. We used to sing in the choir.
Always full of surprises.
I flirted with you a little bit.
Huh?
I flirted with you.
You flirt with everybody.
May place the ring.
Like the time he told us his plan to marry his caregiver and roommate, Reese.
So we get married right here in the building. There's a lady here in the building who performs these things. So I'll just do that in the morning. Then we'll get down and have a banquet. Then I'll come upstairs and kill myself. How was the honeymoon, Bob? It was a killer. Sorry. I'm not being a proper 75-year-old man.
The things he taught us.
He is teaching us how to live. He's teaching us how to die. And he's doing it all together. It's beautiful.
How deeply he touched others.
If I had a fairy wand and could heal them all, I would do that and then we wouldn't have to worry about May 10th. But I don't have a fairy wand.
Bob Fuller knew the number of days he had left to live. He knew when he would die and how, and ultimately how he wanted us to cover this moment of his life.
So how would you like us to cover you on May 10th?
On May 10th, I'd like you to be here filming the entire thing here in my bedroom as I'm giving my my medication, my formula, my bowl, and just as I'm about to have my last supper, my last meal, I'd like the cameras to pan from me to some angels that I have posted, my pictures of angels around me, and then maybe move the camera out the window here. How's that sound?
How's it sound to you?
Sounds nice. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when.
John Sharify.
But I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
King 5 News.
Now, we turned Bob's Choice into a documentary. Look it up. It's on YouTube. More than 800,000 people have seen it. Tim had mentioned the DuPont. It was for Bob's Choice, the documentary. And you'll notice if you do watch it that there's no narration. So as you heard and saw in this story, there's my narration, but the way we told the documentary is you won't hear my voice, except when I'm asking questions. With our stories, we get to take viewers to places they've never been. Show us, don't just tell us. Prove it with your words, with their words, the people you're interviewing it. Prove it with unforgettable images and moments that you've managed to capture on video. Let's meet the people that make our community a better place, that make our world a better world. We get to connect with those people in the stories we tell. We have that passport, after all, into their lives, into their world. How about telling that story?
All right.
A 20-minute bus ride from her Seattle home.
Okay, thank you.
Now the 2-minute walk to a place
Okay, bye.
that could save her.
Hi,
Mom. Hi, Mom. Love you, Mom.
Right there in her hand.
Okay.
Simjaze Sales holds hope for a better tomorrow.
Seattle, Caspian.
Anything is better than today.
Huh.
And this sinking feeling she has that she could lose everything.
Oh, there's 5517. There we go.
Simjaze lost her job in customer service when millions of others also lost their jobs 2 years ago. No steady work since, after working for one company 9 years. Now she's about to lose the apartment she's renting. Someone else might have given up hope by now, maybe even given up on life. Not her.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Never, ever.
Hope.
Before that happens, I would sleep in my car. 5525, there it is.
She needs to keep going, keep pushing. Her unemployment just ran out. After December's rent, she has just $30 left. We have just one more minute with this proud woman. She's desperate.
Yeah?
And she knows she's not alone.
You gotta keep plugging away.
We're witnessing 2 minutes of someone's life. 2 minutes repeated too many times. For Simjaze and for so many others. 2 minutes to see what it's like out there for some of us.
Yeah, 55.
Many of us.
What are you hoping for here?
To get a job. Well, I'm having an interview, but I'm hoping I can get a job here, that they can really use me.
Hope.
Yeah, this is it.
She's holding on to it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Despite these impossible times.
Bye. Hi, I'm from Jave.
John Sharify,
I'm here for an interview because I need a job.
King 5 News.
I'm early, huh?
I'm sure you're going to have some questions about that story and Bob's Choice and some of the other stories that I've presented so far, and we'll get to them right after the presentation. I'm really looking forward to hearing those questions and responding to them. So we did this story in one shot, as you saw. Fans of the Netflix series Adolescence can attest to how engaging that storytelling technique can be. Here's another one I did many years before that got a lot of attention.
One by one, they go in to the food bank on Cherry and 7th. This is the beginning of the line, beginning of another day for Curly Amaro. His last job lasted 29 days. He's run out of money. It's why he's standing here, waiting for his next meal, for life to get better. This line to the food bank shows, for many Americans, putting food on the table is hard. Juliana Bueno is 75. Her sister died 2 years ago. Now she's all alone. You rarely see anyone smiling at a food bank. I wish I could tell you her laughter is contagious. It's not. This former cab driver hasn't worked in 2 years. He'd rather not tell us his name, but he did tell me he lives on the streets. Every day they line up, young and old, single moms. They know that today Northwest Harvest will be serving turkey to go with the rice and beans, bread and pasta. This is Tony Webb. He's 45 and tells me his food stamps ran out. That's why he's here. He tells me his life is about to change. Tony starts a drug treatment program next week. When the unemployment numbers came out earlier today, the media reported it. These people live it. They know what it's like to go to bed hungry and wake up hungry. This endless line to the food bank tells the story. You just saw the faces of 44 people. I counted them. 45, 46. They're waiting for better times. In Seattle, John Sharify, KOMO 4 News.
Now, when you choose that approach, the one shot, no edits, what we're doing is simply heightening the viewer experience. We're telling the story in a way that when the viewer is watching, and hopefully this happened with you, they don't dare look away. That's the hope. That's the challenge. And that's the craft. And that's all I've ever wanted. I'm going to show you a story now that has many, 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 many edits. And I want you to pay close attention to a line that I deliver in this. It's a double negative. And it became the inspiration to how I told this story.
Daedalus, come here. Come here, dude. Come take a book.
There are things that we do.
Books!
And those things that we can't not do.
Everyone's happy.
There is a distinction.
You want to read this one?
Like reading stories to our kids.
And there's a baby seal.
Plus 3 rabbits and 6 squirrels.
Imagining where their minds go.
Yeah.
You just know. It's
time.
Anywhere and everywhere.
The blue dot?
With every word.
Doctor stuff on it.
We can't not do that.
Nikki put on the mittens and went out to play.
I can't
Read to our children to let their imaginations go.
What do you see here?
Hey.
The things that we can't not do.
We will cheer when you score.
Which Danielle likes to point out.
It's terrible grammar, this is terrible.
Those things we must do are different for different people.
Any real writer worth their salt is going to say, because I can't not write.
And so begins this story of 2 writers, co-authors, married to their work.
Do we have everything we need for his story?
And each other.
And you might need to bring it in just a little bit.
This is the less entertaining part.
She's so cute.
Danielle and Matthew Drake agree.
Oh, nice.
Every good story needs
a beginning, a middle, and an end, yeah.
Conflict.
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 Yeah, resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And their stories are always about one thing. Courageous kids.
We call her our hero.
I have nothing to do.
The children are inserted into a fun storyline. Make-believe.
It's one of those things where we don't want to remind them constantly that, hey, you have cancer, you have a terminal illness. It's about them fighting dragons. It's about them, saving anteaters at the zoo because that's their favorite animal.
And they create this amazing story that stars your child.
It's time to go to bed.
This child has been living with leukemia half her life.
George is faster.
Dryden is 4 years old and finishing up this chapter of her life.
George.
Chemotherapy.
You can go play outside.
Oh, she's so incredibly cute.
There's been times when she's at her doctor's appointments and other kids are crying, and she'll go to their room and tell them to be strong and tell them it's okay and it won't hurt them. So.
You do that, huh? They're not just heroes in between those covers. They're heroes in life.
Yep.
Like Wes.
Sneaky stormtrooper.
7 years old and fighting cancer.
He's a super soldier Jedi.
Neuroblastoma.
And the evil foe is a polar bear with a lightsaber.
And there's Avery.
Avery's so cute.
Also fighting cancer in real life.
So we made him a fireman.
His dream.
We want to restore a little bit of that childhood and let them know that they are still kids.
This storytelling team has told 284 stories of courageous kids with cancer and other illnesses.
It gives them that feeling of empowerment, like they can take on the world because they see themselves being a hero.
These kids are fighters.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. With every breath they have, they fight.
After that first story,
this is it. This is
they knew
what I'm meant to do.
And what you have to do.
We'd like to think would help with the grieving process if they were to lose their child. So it's hard. It's hard.
And it does happen.
It does.
Are you excited for your book? Yeah.
So the first line of Dryden's story. One Saturday, the house was quiet. Dryden felt restless, like it was too quiet. I know, she said to her siblings at the breakfast table. Today we should put on a talent show, like on TV.
Dryden's story is written. What remains?
We're grabbing pictures for Dryden's book right now.
Is getting the perfect pictures to go along with the prose. That's Matthew's job.
Underneath the picture it says, one Saturday the house was quiet.
Ice cream, cupcakes, pudding, orange juice.
But before we get to this point,
something from the fridge.
There were the questions.
I asked about her favorite colors, her favorite books, her favorite characters.
Just a big list of favorites.
Favorite food.
Favorite foods.
Which was?
I have to do some photoshopping now.
She carefully picked up one of the peppers by the stem and brought it to her mouth.
She loves pepperoncinis.
As she bit into it, the flavor exploded on her tongue and she wanted to cry out for help, but she couldn't talk.
She'll remember that day, but she'll remember it was Olive's.
Really? You like pepperoncinis? A lot?
She was afraid that if she opened her mouth, her tongue would fall out and all of her teeth, too.
How many can you eat?
10?
That moment, you know, when a child gets their book, that squeal, and they open and they're like, this is me! You know, it's just, ah.
That moment is near.
Yeah.
We all love happy endings.
I do.
Dryden, this is for you.
Remember that? Dryden's talent show. One Saturday, the house was quiet. Dryden.
I look up to every one of the children we've written for.
Yeah.
They're my heroes.
Little pepperoncinis.
Having a gift like this, it's like you can keep it forever.
What a gift of love to the pepperoncini-loving little girl whose favorite story in the world now is her own.
Every day is a blessing that you get to be with your family.
John Sharify, King 5 News. The double negative, those things that we can't not do. I wrote it because I know there are things in life that I can't not do. What is it for you? Think about it for a moment. The things you can't not do. For me, it's always been journalism and now teaching our future journalists. A blank screen, a story to tell, where to begin. Truth is, as a writer, journalist, storyteller, as someone who embraces life and adventures, I love the blank screen. Didn't always. It can be intimidating and scary, but I embrace it now. That blank screen staring at me, that blank screen reminding me of life's possibilities, new chapters, new beginnings. Where to begin?
You know, there are lots of ways that you can start.
A blank screen, a story to write.
I can help you write story at me. I think that might be cheating, though.
And what a story. I repeat, what a story.
Yes.
Do I start from the beginning?
It depends on how you want to tell it.
Maybe I start by showing pictures of Adora Svitak.
You can jump into the action and establish a setting.
Her sister plays the piano. On second thought, no piano. Not yet. Just pictures. This is Adora the year she began reading. I'll follow it up with the oh wow moment.
Well, my name's Adora Svitak, and at the age of 7, I published my first book. It's called Flying Fingers.
I like that beginning. Let's see what Adora thinks.
Well, I think it's important not to do it as a series of milestones. By 7, she published her first book. By 8, she did this. I think it's important to weave it together.
Let me start again. A blank screen, a story to write. How about this one? It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Oh, no. That's already been done.
Yeah, I was about to say, and also, where's the worst of times come in?
Said the 12-year-old prodigy who reminded me now that I had a beginning, all I had left to write was the
middle and end.
The middle's easy. Talk to the proud mom.
It has been a story to remember.
Here's a tip. Use words that will help your readers imagine each supporting detail.
That is very astonishing to us. That young age, she has such a love for writing.
Very good. That's exactly it.
Astonishing. Should I put a surprise in there?
Like what?
Like this.
A narrative is a story. I think it's good to show my interactions with students. Who else would like to share their idea?
When I was at my old school, I was bullied a lot.
You might share the experience made you feel.
How many 12-year-olds do you know are teachers?
I think teaching has really become a big part of who I am.
I know just one.
Stories are more exciting when they're suspenseful.
Today, Adora is teaching 5th and 6th graders from Kansas about how to become
describe it
better storytellers.
Right? Yeah. Now, you might be wondering, why is a 12-year-old talking to us?
How many 12-year-olds do you know?
Seriously, what do you think an innovative classroom looks like?
Teach teachers.
Using different mediums is another thing that is very innovative.
On this day, New Hampshire teachers are picking Adora's brain to see how they can make their classrooms more innovative.
Learning really needs to be multi-dimensional.
What are some of the greatest obstacles?
An adult sees me. They think, okay, that's just a 12-year-old. When really they should be thinking that's someone who can do great things or maybe has done great things.
Add this to the great things.
Now, I wanted to start with the question, when was the last time you were called childish?
Adora is one of the youngest speakers ever, featured at a coveted TED Talk conference.
I love to write from the age of 4, and when I was 6, my mom bought me my own laptop equipped with Microsoft Word. Thank you, Bill Gates.
An honor reserved for people like Bill Gates, Al Gore, and now Adora Svitak.
Because the world's problems shouldn't be the human family's heirloom. Thank you.
And she can add this to her body of work. Adora helped write her own news story today.
Do I get a pay cut from that?
My answer is the same answer her mom gave me when I asked her. Do you feel like you're pushing her?
Absolutely not.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed connecting with you.
Every good story has a good ending.
Bye. The end of this story is...
How about something simple like ending with Adora's view of life?
The sky's the limit. You can really do whatever you want. You dream big, do the impossible.
John Sharify, King 5 News.
Something like that might work well.
I wanted to give credit where credit is due to my creative collaborators on some of these stories that you've been watching. Joseph Huerta, Ty Nguyen, Kevin Sullivan, I think, Eric Sander, Jeff Christian, Scott Jensen, Randy Carnell, Doug Burgess, who did the Prodigy. And interestingly enough, when Doug and I were teamed up at King 5 for many, many years, and I'm about to show you a story that we called PB&J. But when Doug and I finished shooting the story that you're about to see, he asked me, which he always did, So what are you thinking? Meaning, like, what are you thinking in terms of structure of the story, what you're going to write, how it's going to play out? And I said, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the movie Memento, which inspired me to tell this story, to start it at the end and work my way backwards.
I think there, but for fortune, go you or go I.
You know, these streets ain't no joke.
When you're living on the streets, you know the deal.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out here.
It's about surviving, finding a place to sleep.
Man, it's crazy out here.
Everybody open one bag.
Getting that next meal.
Hi.
How are you?
A peanut butter and jelly sandwich
Thank you so
is
much.
Anthony's one meal for the day.
And it's just nice to give people things that they need.
Yeah.
If Anthony only knew what went into his first meal in 24 hours.
You know, tastes good.
This sandwich.
Peanut butter and jelly.
The flow is this: peanut butter passed to jelly.
If he only knew the whole story from the beginning.
Let's start with peanut butter. Let's go.
We could tell him Seattle fifth graders at St. John's School
Do you have white bread?
made the sandwiches that afternoon.
These are going to homeless people who don't have food to eat.
Ooh, yeah.
Enough sandwiches to feed all the homeless at City Hall Park.
Oh, my goodness.
If only they knew the rest of the story. The trail of the sandwiches
This is good.
ends here.
I'm from St. John's School, and we made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I appreciate it.
Should we check your blood pressure today?
But it began months ago.
Do you want to come in here? Oh, let's go in. We can go in here.
The moment a homeless woman named Adriana
There we go.
walked into the Pioneer Square Clinic and saw something extraordinary on the wall. Adriana wanted to be up there too,
Her story was amazing.
with all the other portraits of patients at the clinic, the homeless men and women who never imagined someone asking them two questions.
Oh, she was like, "Can I take a picture of you?"
There.
I'm like, "Yeah, why?"
And, can I paint your portrait?
Okay, I'll do it.
Oh, when she said she wanted to do my portrait, I was flabbergasted.
That question itself would make anyone feel
Important.
Important.
Yeah, de que somebody.
Cares.
Yeah.
And she really does.
Yes.
Any pain today?
She
Nothing?
is Nurse Mary Larson,
Yes.
treating the homeless at the clinic by
Let
day,
me start with your temperature.
by night,
I work from the photos of the patients.
in the comfort of her studio.
I like to do the portraits together, like a group of friends.
She's artist Mary Larson.
When I look at some of these faces, I just see absolute total joy, despite the circumstances. I watch all of these faces progress. They come to life all along the way, but there are moments when there they are. You're almost ready to start having conversations with them.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But nobody said the road was going to be easy.
What do you want people to know about you?
15 days after marriage, he started beating me up.
Isn't that something?
I live off just my Social Security.
Yeah.
That's not easy, finding your way out here on these mean streets.
Human beings can come out of hard things.
I'm still alive, doing well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just recently I started smiling.
Well, the sparkle in their eyes comes to life.
When she began painting the portraits 10 years ago, she realized she could make a difference.
I start thinking about what we're going to sell the paintings for.
Not for cash, though,
No money for these.
but for the things
750 sticks of deodorant.
the homeless need.
Maybe 800 pairs of brand new underwear.
Great! Lewis's portrait just sold for something he could use in the winter.
Warm stocking caps.
Around 400 or 500.
His face made somebody happy.
Edwin's portrait, 250 boxes of cereal.
For a food bank,
There'll be a lot of healthy people walking around because of this portrait.
1,000 pairs of brand new socks, 1,500 toothbrushes, 900 tubes of toothpaste.
I couldn't believe it.
Felton's portrait, 750 cans of food.
It just blows me away.
And I said, man, that's a lot of canned goods.
So no money.
Sandwiches, yes.
I can't imagine just having one sandwich to last the whole day.
The question, how many? In exchange for Adriana's portrait, Mary Larson is about to tell those fifth graders.
If
You guys are ready for a big challenge. I would like to see if you together are able to make a total of 3,000 sandwiches. Do you think you could do that?
Oh my!
Well, that will mean you will have fed 3,000 hungry people in Seattle.
It's amazing.
Consider these sandwiches
I'm from St. John's and we made 100 today.
a down payment for the portrait of Adriana that, from now on, hangs on the wall at St. John's.
Close to God. I don't know.
You can thank Nurse Mary Larson.
Made me feel important. Famous.
When our patients lend their faces to this, to be painted, they're helping make a better world. And we need that right now.
Now you know the rest of the story and the trail of this sandwich.
That's perfect.
6 squirts.
Here you go.
John Sharify, King 5 News.
The best stories come from the people who trust you enough to share their stories, like Bob Fuller, like Kim Kime, who you're about to meet. As journalists, so often we enter people's lives at either the worst time of their lives or the best times. I prefer the best time scenario any day, but the reality is most days we have to cover the bad news. That's what we do in local news. A mother is in grief, her son has been murdered. Go cover it, we're told, and we do. And we try to get through the day the best we can. It's gut-wrenching. We try to not let it get to us. We try, but it does. Of course it does. We're on the front lines of grief, after all. I'm sorry for your loss, we tell that person we just met, that person whose life we've entered at the single worst time of their lives. I'm sure those were the first words out of my mouth when I met Kim Kime. I'm so sorry. And I'm sure I was thinking about my own 2 children. The moment she started talking about her son, Chris, the thought had to have crossed my mind. What would I do if I lost my children? Please God, never let that happen to me, like it's happened to this woman I just met. I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget that story. It's a story I wanted to share with you because it speaks to why I'm a journalist and why I believe what we do as journalists matters. This story you're about to see, it's the last one, and then we'll open it up to questions, is a story that I did several times over the years about the Kime family. This one aired on the 10-year anniversary of the death of Christopher
Kime. If we begin this story at the end and work our way backwards, a young man's gravestone would be a logical place to start. Chris Kime's.
The last thing I said to him, how proud I am of him and what an honor it was for me to be his mom.
Or maybe we tell you about the plaque placed in Chris's honor in Pioneer Square and show you what we saw the other day, that nobody noticed the plaque or bothered to look down. But if they only knew what this young man did 10 years ago, maybe you do. Maybe we should start there. At the beginning, before any shiny gravestone, weathered plaque, before the unbearable grief. This is how it all started. This story about love and life. Yes, out of this. Impossible at the time to imagine that anything good could have come from all of this madness.
Yeah.
Kim Kime Parks remembers that winter night.
Oh, like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was a boy from the Mardi Gras.
Ray Page remembers thinking,
that's really ugly.
That he'd never seen anything like this in Seattle. Back up a few hours and you will see Mardi Gras 2001 in Seattle began as it should have. How did something so beautiful turn so ugly so fast? So many questions.
Do you think about him all the time?
Yes.
Cameron was just 9 years old when he lost his big brother Chris, his everything.
The thing that I loved, the thing I idolized, is all of a sudden gone.
What hasn't he been here for? So that's always hard.
I actually didn't get to say goodbye to him the way I wanted to.
You know, we saw it on television, saw him carrying Chris out of the crowd. Oh no, man, he's probably brain dead.
And he was.
Gone in a second.
After someone in the crowd beat Chris Keim to death.
You know how he wound up getting killed, trying to save some girl from being beat up.
Someone he didn't even know.
He's a hero in your eyes.
Oh, absolutely.
A hero for what he did that night.
It has helped me tremendous in my grief.
And for what Chris Keim continues to do, even 10 years later.
Yeah, Chris's story is not done.
Yeah.
Even though a gravesite and a plaque suggest it is.
What did you know about Chris?
Nothing.
But Larry Levinson knew he was dying.
Larry had about 2 weeks to live, period.
Yeah, it was over.
He thought his story was written.
So the nurse said what?
She said, "You're gonna be out of here real quick."
Meaning?
My heart was coming from Chris Keim.
A heart of a hero.
Most definitely.
I think it was the morning after when the doctor came in and patted me on the foot. He says, "You received a kidney of a 20-year-old that died of a head trauma."
Chris Keim.
And next thing I know, I'm getting his kidney. Yeah, I got his right kidney, sits down on my front left side.
Chris's other kidney,
Jesse's left kidney,
went to Jesse Bettis.
The kidney just was a miracle.
Without Chris's kidney,
death.
Jesse got to live long enough to go to her daughter Marcy's wedding.
It was just so nice to have her there for all of those special moments.
She always made the most of life.
The family got 6 more precious years with her.
My only regret is it couldn't have been 6 more.
Jesse would die in 2007.
You know, when your soulmate dies, it's kind of like half of you goes with her.
Her lungs were eventually what gave out on her, but the kidney was still going strong until like the last week or so.
Yeah.
But Chris could save other people.
And he did. Chris's gifts of life.
Corneas, eyes, bone, skin.
We never met the liver recipient.
From what I understand, he's still doing fine.
Rick Allison has the lung.
Rick was in bad shape too. I don't know how much longer he'd have made it.
In fact, we've learned that Rick, even 10 years later, continues to breathe Chris's lungs.
The doctor that performed the transplant said he had never seen a healthier set of lungs.
There was a young girl about 8 years old who had the beginnings of bone cancer in her arm, in her leg. And so they took one of his arm bones and grafted it in. No more cancer.
There were 2 people that received his corneas.
We lost Martha 4 years ago, got the pancreas.
Do you know how many Chris helped altogether?
I want to say 12 or 13.
How amazing is that?
Larry remembers like it was yesterday, meeting Chris's mom for the first time.
She walked up and wrapped herself around me and said,
I want to feel that heart.
"I want to listen to Chris."
And then I put my hand to his chest. Oh my gosh.
That was her deal. Chris was still there.
This is the reason we're here today, is about Chris.
Chris Keim was proud of the fact that he was an organ donor, his decision.
Yes, it was my son.
And his mother and brother have made it their mission to tell the world how important that is.
Donor's family.
They point to their new family.
Perfect. Perfect match.
As proof.
Keeps me alive.
Oh, Chris.
Where's Uncle Chris?
Chris never got to know his nephews, Zachary and Christian.
Him don't see me.
No, he doesn't see you.
It would have broken his heart to learn that both boys have a liver disease. And so...
There's a possibility that when both of my grandsons are in their 20s or early 30s, they might possibly need a liver transplant. So
now I have kids that could possibly need this gift that we were able to give to people.
It affects everybody. Everybody.
I'm sure you said thank you many times in your life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably every day.
All because of a young man who left behind something no one could take from him, even when someone took his life.
Basically, it went beyond just a gift of life. It was a gift of love.
When I think about that heart, I think it's Chris's heart still.
That gift
Works fantastic.
to help others
I'm still running. They're still working.
live.
Thanks to Chris.
Yeah. You betcha.
He's the reason I'm here talking to you.
John Sharify,
What a gift. What a gift.
King 5 News.
Joseph Campbell has talked about the idea of bliss. He said, follow your bliss. If you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been waiting for you in the life you ought to be living. My bliss, right now it's doing this, sharing what I know with the next generation of journalists. My bliss is sharing stories that need to be told and hopefully telling those stories powerfully and beautifully. It's something I can't not do. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure you have questions, and I'm here to answer them. And I know people have probably other commitments as well, so I won't be insulted if you have to take off. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here for you.
I have a microphone. Can we ask a question?
Yeah. I know there was a lot of stories that came to you and came your way.
So on that dog story, sort of jump cut from the dog toy to the prison. How I imagine that was done in pre-production, but how did you make it so seamless?
Well, I have to give credit to my creative partner on that one. That was Joseph Huerta. So if he were here, he could probably answer that question perfectly. That's and I mentioned this, how fortunate I am and have been to work with people who have such amazing skills that he was able to do that. But I'm glad it worked because we had talked about it in one of the classes. I don't know with you, no, because we were at the lab tomorrow together. But you'll be in a class tomorrow, hopefully, about the surprise or the reveal, and I think it was with you, yes, and how the best way to do it is not gradually, but all at once. Like it's that moment. What I'm going for is, and what I'm hoping for, and like the best compliment anyone can give me after a story that I've done. Isn't probably the usual things that you might think. It's, I didn't see it coming. To me, that is the greatest compliment that can be made, because I'm always looking for the reveal and hopefully that big surprise that is the goosebump moment for the viewer. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. It's all about the viewer experience. And so I'm always keeping the viewer in mind for any edit I make, for any line that I write.
Thank you.
Yep. We have a couple of questions, yeah, up there.
I noticed that when filming food pickup, the camera was pointed at subject's face for a long period of time, creating a kind of camera star. And the subjects, most of the subjects were evasive, suggests that there was no communication in advance. Is it possible?
And which story before you get to take the mic, which story are you referring to?
They pick up the food.
Oh, the Mary Larson story. The Mary Larson story. And the question is what? What is the question?
The camera style. Is this
the camera style?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. I know that Doug had an amazing time with it. For me, the best moment is when she's looking at the portraits and they come to life with the things that they're saying. There was a lot that we shot a lot for that story, and we worked with her because we had identified our subject, the main woman in that story. And because Nurse Mary Larson isn't, a full-time artist, she had to do this, on the weekends or when she had spare time because she had a full-time job. We wanted to watch her create that one portrait of our main subject from beginning to end. We didn't want to miss any of it. We wanted to be there for the entire time. But she doesn't do the portraits all at once. So we would go there, sort of every week to see the progress in it. And there's that point at which, you see it coming to life and coming to fruition. It's easier for me to talk about the things that I contributed to the story, like the writing and the structure, but just like the question that you asked about sort of the approach to the visual storytelling, I just wish I had my teammates here to answer it, because they would be the perfect people to answer those questions. Okay, thanks for the question.
When you get a story, what's that process usually like? Do you find it yourself? Does someone hand it off to you? And then how do you contact the subjects? And then as well, once you have everything laid out for you, what is the first thing you do during your writing process?
Right, good, wow, that's a lot. So do we have an hour? So I got to a point in my career in Seattle where a lot of stories came to me. Like for instance, Bob's Choice came to me because I had done an interview with Bob, and he remembered that, and he would follow my stories over the years. I had met him 10 years before, as you saw in the piece. I think I mentioned that, and I got to a point at my station at King 5, which is the NBC station in Seattle, where I enterprised all of my stories. So I wasn't handed any stories. So everything I did, I enterprised. So that answers that part of the question. In terms of the writing approach, it's so interesting. There are reporters out there, people that I respect and admire their work, who work totally differently than I do, who know how they're going to begin and have it all laid out in an outline, and I don't work that way. You know that line with the Prodigy line, and I even mentioned it here. I said a blank screen, a story to write. What do I say now? I love that part of it. So I'll go in, however, knowing that there's a theme to the story, that there's going to be a focus to the story. And then the writing becomes that much easier. But I just love the empty page, the proverbial empty page, and then thinking, okay, how am I going to start it? Where am I going to go from here? But what I do know, because I'm disciplined about this, is I don't want to give it all away at once. So I'll give you a little bit. I'll maybe do some foreshadowing, giving you the feeling that there's something good that's going to come. And again, that's because I'm thinking about you, the viewer. I don't think I answered all your questions, but we can talk afterwards. Michelle over there. Great questions.
So I noticed that your interviews are very personal. Do you kind of do research on people and then come with questions, or do you ask more open-ended questions like tell me about XYZ?
Well, it's interesting. First of all, you know this because you're in the business, and you all will learn this, is the relationship, the rapport that we have to have with the people, the subjects, the people that we interview. It almost has to be instant rapport, because usually what happens is that you meet them and you're turning the story for that day, and it's there's a lot of pressure, because ultimately what you want is to get the best out of the person, right? So what I like to do is try not to draw attention to the interview. You know, when I'm asked the question, you know, what questions are you going to ask me? Because everyone's nervous about that, and I would be too, is to say, you know, oh, we're just going to have a conversation. Now, of course, I'll talk about what the story's about, but I just want to do everything I can to make them feel comfortable so that while everything's being set up, I'm getting to know them. You know, tell me, what was your day like? And, you know, these sort of benign questions that, and maybe offer something about myself to develop that kind of rapport. What was the other one? Oh, and I also wanted to say that you probably noticed that in a lot of the stories, you will hear me asking questions. And if you look at other people's work, you will never hear them asking questions. I got to a point in my career where I thought, why am I not including the questions that I have asked in the finished product? And I think what's good about that is that in a way what you're doing is you're asking the questions that the viewer probably has in mind, you know, as well. So that's another connection to the viewer, you know, by asking that question. And it's not, I mean, you heard my style of asking. It's gentle. It's because I'm curious and I want to know, and you know, and that's how I approach it. But great question. Yes.
Did the woman get the job?
She did, and we mentioned it. Yeah, the anchors mentioned it at the end, you know, in a tag that she got the job. She got the job. It wasn't 40 hours though, but she still got the job, you know.
You know, I know you mentioned in an earlier question that it sometimes takes a long time. You've got a lot of different filming that you're doing on different parts of the story where you're like, okay, we're going to come back week after week after week for some of these longer term stories. How do you convince the folks above you that, hey, this story is worth sticking with?
It doesn't happen overnight. How do I convince the powers that be, my bosses, that I can't turn it in one day. I need like a month or two. Well, you know what? I paid my dues. I've turned those stories, you know, for years and years and years and years. And what I'll say is this one, please, for this one, I just need time. And then the other thing I do, I did this at not the last station I worked at, the previous station, is sometimes I shoot on my own and don't let anyone know that I'm shooting it. Because as soon as I let them know, they want it for that night or the next day. So those are called the sort of the back pocket stories that I develop over time. But I think the stories that are done over a course of over a period of time are the more powerful stories. And so I love you know, finding opportunities to tell those stories. I did a documentary called Climb of a Lifetime, but and I did a TED Talk about it as well, where I chronicled the lives of recovering addicts and homeless men who were training to climb Mount Rainier over like 6 months. And what we did there is we would do news stories like every few weeks, and then I had enough material to do this big documentary, which you know, maybe in one of the classes we can show an excerpt of that one. But and interesting enough, since I brought it up, it's interesting what happens in careers and sort of your perception of how you're doing and what you're doing and what you want to do next. When I did Climb of a Lifetime, I kept telling people that's the story of a lifetime for me. I don't think I can get better than that. And then less than 10 years later, Bob's Choice comes. And my news director at the time said, you know, because that was recognized, you know, considerably as well, that documentary. He said, you know, you're going to have a letdown. You've done this thing that's, you know, at this high level. You're going to feel this letdown, and then you're going to like be a little bit lost. He was right, because once you feel like you've had this thing, then like, what do you do next? How do I top this if that's something that's inside you? And I did feel those things, and then I sort of let it go, and then Bob's Choice came in. Bob came into my life, which is really the story of my lifetime. Yes, and you were going to ask a question. Yes. All right.
I was going to Oh my gosh, am I loud?
Yeah,
I was gonna go back
good.
to when you
Louder
were,
the better.
when you said about following your bliss, because that part just really stuck out to me.
Good.
So you're saying your bliss is, sharing stories and how to do that. So my question is, hold on. Okay, that made me question, how did that feel to finally know, like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, like, I'm following my bliss? How did that feel?
Oh, there's nothing like it. It's like, I think I had a line in one of the stories about that, about bliss. Like, imagine this, that you finally have that, to have that and feel like you're making an impact. I have been in constant search and sort of failed at it for many, many years of finding meaningful stories, because, I was thrown into doing stories that I didn't feel were meaningful, but I had to do them because I knew that that's what you do, because you gotta do what they assign you. But I got to a point in my career where this deep desire to find meaning in the work and find meaningful stories and find meaning in the work all converged. And once you get there, I mean, hopefully everyone will get there if that's what you want. Maybe it's not what you want. It's hard to do the other. It's hard to do less. Yeah, great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Talk real quick, just a little bit about the teamwork. You do have some very talented
Oh my
people
God.
to work with, and some of my friends too, as you guys. But tell us about teamwork, working together, and how before, during, and after the story, how you work together.
Yeah. So I think when you're working, these days, multimedia journalists, that's the team. They're going out and doing everything. But I was, when I was doing all my stories, and I've had a career of being an educator after my last big story, really. I did stories for NBC LX and some other stories after Bob's Choice, but my swan song, my last story was actually Bob's Choice, the documentary, for a local news station. And I've been doing other things, projects and teaching and things like that, consulting. But the best question that you can ask your creative partner, and I truly believe that every time you go out and you're working with your teammate, they're your creative collaborators, is when you're on your way or when you're brainstorming, you have to ask the what if question. What if we tried this? What if we tried that? Because the what if, like the Prodigy story is a great example. The Prodigy story, I tell Doug Burgess, I'm doing a story about, I have this girl that is a prodigy. I explained what she does. She basically teaches teachers, how to teach, adult teachers. She's gifted, and it's English. She's written books, things like that. And he said, what if we have her help us tell the story? I said, brilliant. And then off of that, I said, what if, as we're having her help us tell the story, the viewer is watching me actually create the story, on my laptop. So what I loved about that is that it's this idea, any writer knows, any journalist knows, is we get to decide. We get to decide who's in, who's out, the soundbite we're going to use, the line we're going to write. We are the storytellers. We get to pick the opening visual and the opening line and how to end it. So, and then maybe we've written something and then we're going, I don't like that. And you saw that in the Prodigy piece. That's what I did. So it's those kinds of questions and truly being committed. Like, this is 50-50. This isn't 90-20, 90-10 and 80-20. My math is really bad. This is a 50-50 proposition. We're going to do this together. And I like to say, if I can bring my best and he or she can bring their best, then you can create magic. Because it just is better then anything. It just, somehow that collaboration just sizzles and rises to the top. As I have been privileged with the work that I've done with Doug and Joseph, and so many names that I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Very good. We do appreciate you sharing the magic that you brought this
thank
with
you.
us.
Yeah.
And one more time, let's give it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for being such a great audience. All right. Appreciate it.